I live with a friend named Levi. We share a two-bedroom apartment in an old house in Austin. The place isn't great, but it's livable and we keep to ourselves for the most part. At first, Levi seemed quiet and maybe a bit intense, but not in a way that felt dangerous. After a couple of weeks, though, I noticed something strange. Levi never sleeps. I've never seen him asleep. Not once. Some nights, I wake up around 2 or 3 in the morning and he's already awake, sitting at the kitchen table with no phone, laptop, or food. Sometimes he's writing in an old notebook he always carries with him. Other times, he's just staring at the wall. When I asked him about it for the first time, I half joked, "Dude, do you even sleep?" He looked up and said seriously, "Not yet." And that was that. Just 2 words from him. And then he went back to writing in his notebook like nothing happened. It gave me a little creeps, but I tried to brush it off. I figured he had some sleep disorder or maybe he was just one of those hyper-focused types. But over time, it started to get under my skin. Some things started to change. The apartment got weird. I'd walk down the hallway and swear it was longer than before. The light wouldn't reach the end of it some nights. It seemed to have sunk into the walls. Once, I thought I passed a door on my way to the bathroom. It was there on my right for a split second. When I turned to look again, it was gone. Just smooth drywall with no seams or anything. I tried not to think too hard about it. Then I started hearing things. Every night, at exactly 3:18 a.m., I'd hear 3 knocks. Not on my door or Levi's, on the wall between our rooms. 3 slow, heavy knocks. Always the same rhythm, always in the same spot. I asked Levi again directly, "Do you hear those knocks at night?" He didn't even look at me this time. He just said, "That's not for you." I let it go, but the phrase "not for you" stuck in my mind. It felt like he was talking about more than just the sound. He seemed to mean the whole thing. So 2 nights ago, I stayed awake. There were no distractions. Just me, the couch, and the hallway. I didn't even move, just watched. The apartment was quiet. At 3:17, the atmosphere became heavy. Not cold, but heavy. Like walking into a room after a fight where the energy hasn't left. At 3:18, 3 knocks came, slow and deliberate, as if whoever was knocking wanted to be heard. Then something happened. The wall between our rooms moved. The drywall rippled like a heat wave over pavement. And suddenly, there was a door. An actual door, old wood with no frame and a brass handle. Before I could process what was happening, Levi walked through it. He didn't acknowledge me. He didn't even glance in my direction. He walked right through the living room, barefoot, wearing a faded shirt I had never seen before. It looked like it said something about a summer camp, but the letters were too worn to read. He opened the closet in the hallway and stepped inside. The closet was maybe 3 feet deep, with coats and a broken vacuum cleaner inside. But Levi didn't stop. He continued walking, as if the closet was the beginning of something else. I followed him without thinking about it. My body simply moved. Inside the closet were stairs, long, descending stone steps. At first, the air felt cold, then warm. There were so many stairs that I couldn't count them. The air downstairs didn't feel like air. It was thick and made my skin tingle. The walls felt alive, as if they were breathing and aware. At the bottom of the stairs was a room, huge and way too big to fit under our house. The walls were made of layers of paper, with old wallpaper peeling off, but the layers moved as if they were alive. Levi stood in front of the mirror. But it wasn't a mirror, it didn't reflect anything. It was just noise, like static, like a TV tuned to nothing. He was whispering, not in English, not in any language I'd heard before, just moving his lips slowly and steadily, like he'd been saying the same thing for years. Then he stopped, turned to face me. His eyes were not right. They weren't bleeding or glowing. They were just off. like they were blinking in and out, like I was seeing too many frames at once and my brain couldn't process them. He looked at me and said, "Now we both remember." I blacked out, woke up on the kitchen floor at 6 a.m. with a nosebleed and dirt under my nails. His room was empty now, not messy, empty, like no one had ever lived there, no bed, no clothes, nothing, just the notebook left on the floor, still open, with one new line written at the bottom, "Don't forget me again." I'm not sure what he meant, and I don't even know if it was meant for me to see. But I think the door might open again tonight, and this time it might not wait for Levi. I think it's for me. Last night, I didn't sleep. I wasn't really planning to. I just couldn't sit still. For hours, I paced around the apartment, then sat by the closet on the floor, staring at the door. Hoping it wouldn't open, hoping it would. I kept checking the clock. At 3:18, nothing happened, no knocks, no ripples, just silence. For a moment, I thought it might be over, that Levi had left, and that was that. Then, around 4:12, I heard something upstairs, slow movement, footsteps maybe, but we live on the top floor, so there shouldn't be anyone above us. I stood there, trying to make sense of it, thinking about calling for help, but who would I even call? A police officer? A priest? A building contractor? I went back to the closet and opened it. There were still coats and a vacuum, but nothing else. However, when I closed the door, I felt like something had changed. The room seemed to hold its breath behind me. This day has also been strange. My phone won't hold a charge, and every clock in the apartment is set to different times. The microwave has reset itself twice, and the static on the television is louder than usual even when muted. There's also a strange smell in the air that seems like something old, like soil or paper or something that has been buried for a long time and finally emerged. Additionally, I keep seeing flashes of movement in mirrors and dark corners, but when I look directly at them, they disappear. I've even tried throwing the notebook away, but it always ends up back in my room, on my bed, open to the same page, reminding me not to forget. I'm starting to question whether Levi ever actually lived here at all. I can't remember him signing a lease. I do remember him being here, but I can't recall the exact moment he arrived. And I can't stop thinking about what he said. Now we both remember. I've been having strange dreams. Not really dreams, more like images. Awake flashes of places I've never been but feel familiar. A hallway that seems to loop. A staircase without an end. A mirror that seems to watch instead of reflect. Something's changing. I can sense it. I'm afraid to sleep, afraid to leave, afraid to stay. But beneath all that, the worst thing is the small voice in my head that keeps telling me, "You asked for this." And perhaps I did. Perhaps this has been waiting for me for longer than I care to admit. If anything else happens tonight, I'll update again. If not, and if you never hear from me again, check your own walls. Listen at 3:18. And whatever you do, don't open the door.